Hi, I'm Rev Risti, head Rebel at Rebel Marketing, and I'm here today with Aron Bohlig, and we're going to talk about his business and how they heavily rely on referrals, and actually they only accept referrals for business. Hey Aron, how are you?
Hey Rev, great. How are you doing?
Good, good. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know you're busy traveling the world, but I'm excited to talk to you because one of the things that attracted me to wanting to interview you was what you have on your website, and it clearly states that you only accept referrals. And I thought that's a bold statement, and that you do this so you're actually saving on marketing effort and budget, which is an interesting message. Well, really quick, tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Very happy to. So I'm Aron Bohlig. I'm the founder and managing partner here at COMCAP LLC. COMCAP is a boutique investment bank that's focused on retail e-commerce, and we help companies generally valued between 30 and 300 million to either raise money or to sell themselves, or in some cases, we help larger companies to buy new companies that are in new product categories or new geographies for them. For us, referrals have been really the cornerstone of our business. In many cases, we are approached by new potential clients, but I'd say probably 9 times out of 10, somebody who's a referral is both more qualified, more likely to become a client, more likely to be an interesting prospect for us, an economic opportunity for us, than kind of a blind person from outside of my network. And that's really been a central tenet of how I've built the business over the last 7 years, has been to expand my network and really to proactively ask for referrals. In terms of marketing, other marketing activities, the key activity we use is content marketing. So we try to be a thought leader in our space. We try to take a position on sometimes provocative questions. We publish lots of research on our website. As you noted, I was just traveling to Hong Kong where I was presenting at a conference about the impact that Amazon and Alibaba have been having on retailers around the world, and really position ourselves, as I said, as kind of thought leaders and as unique domain experts. And so that's lent itself well to our referral marketing program, because generally if we ask somebody to introduce a friend that they may have who's a CEO or board member who'd be eligible for our services, by being positioned as an expert in our field, generally they're very happy to do so. And so we find that combination of the two things, content marketing and then kind of working referral network, are both kind of a virtuous cycle and very kind of value added and complementary activities. Some of the other marketing activities we've pursued over time, we have tried kind of outbound campaigns, especially bringing on new business development team members. And usually, frankly, those are just less effective. In many cases, the folks that we're trying to reach out to are CEOs. They have well-established networks. And so unless we have a relationship, perhaps through a board member or some member of their executive team, it's very tough to kind of come in through the front door through a cold calling approach. And so that's just kind of reinforced our activities related both to referral marketing and then to content marketing.
Okay, that's great. And I think that's something that a lot of businesses, because especially in the marketing, and I know when I talk to other professional services, they kind of get caught up in this whole digital age and you got to drive leads, and they forget their business is really built on relationships. In fact, that's how you and I met, was in an entrepreneurs organization event, and here we are, staying connected. Who knows if we'll ever do business together, but I think, building that network and having that personality and friendship before you even talk about business is so important. So if you had some advice, there's so many opportunities to network. How do you decide and choose? How have you made that work for you?
Well, that's a great question. Certainly something that has been kind of trial and error over time. Usually I try to focus on events with only kind of the highest level of participant. In my case, as I've mentioned, generally we're seeking to pitch to CEOs and board members. And so the good news is you always know who the CEO is of a company, because he or she is going to make sure his or her name and bio is on that company website. So it's fairly easy to find the right person. And then it's really a function of kind of finding the events that really are curated to go to exactly that audience. And so we tend to go to fewer kind of general industry events and only kind of select ones where I know that kind of the right level of attendee is going to be there. And so we're fairly selective in terms of how we spend time at different industry events, because in many cases, if it's not somebody who's a decision maker, it's just frankly not worthwhile spending time trying to network to them.
Yeah, and I find when I've gone out, my tactics may be a little more random, but you know pretty quickly when you attend an event, if you're gonna find the right audience or not. So great. Well, the other thing you mentioned is content, and that's something big that we work on as well for our clients. Tell me a little bit, how do you decide or strategize around the content that you are going to produce?
Well, it's a great question. We do it through a couple different vehicles. One is just in conversations with our clients and other people in the industry, going to both speaking at events and then going to major events. We kind of usually will summarize a conference and talk about the top kind of 3 to 5 trends that other speakers had addressed at that conference. And over time, we'll look at those trends and see if there's an area that we should put energy into researching, especially if it's something that's not covered by one of the major industry analysts. In our field, Gartner, Forrester, and others are fairly active, but they don't cover new emerging technology segments, so we tend to focus on those areas. The other area we look for is funding activity. If we see a lot of venture capital funding going into a new area that does not have established competitors, then that suggests that in 2 or 3 years, those small companies will grow into medium-sized, in some cases larger companies. And so we'll seek to get ahead of that trend, research the space, and establish ourselves as experts in that new evolving category.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So are you yourself producing it? Is your team producing it? Are you doing mostly articles? Maybe tell us a little bit about the content.
Yeah, we primarily do between 20 and 70 page reports. As
wow.
You can do with 1 or 2 of these coming out a month. I write everything myself, every word, every image, it's painstakingly crafted by myself. No, I'm joking.
Good, because I was going to say that's impossible.
Yeah.
Unless you're superhuman.
I am superhuman, but I dedicate my humanity elsewhere. We've got an editor-in-chief who manages the production process, and then generally kind of our frontline client-facing professionals are producing the core content. And these are people that are working in management consulting capacity, basically, with very large companies around the globe. And so we think generally we have a very unique point of view. And in many cases, the feedback we've gotten is that the work we do is better than many of the traditional industry analysts out there.
That's great. Do you also, if somebody new who's been referred to, do they comment or mention, the content or the articles that they read something that really encouraged them to follow up with you?
Very frequently, yes. In many cases, it may be we've started to have a relationship with somebody that we didn't even know about because they started reading our content, or they may have seen a conference presentation a year and a half before we had a first conversation. And so where they were kind of getting to know our brand and the quality of work that we produce, and then finally a relevant topic comes up and they reached out, or otherwise we connected in some fashion, but where we really laid a lot of the paving stones, so to speak, over time through this content we've been producing.
Okay, great. Well, thanks, Aron. Any last thoughts on content or just marketing in general that you'd like to share with my audience?
Yeah, I guess in general, I like to say I'd rather have 10% of the people love me than 100% of the people not care. And so what that means is generally we do take a strong point of view. We suggest that to other similar professionals. You're better off speaking the truth to something you really know a lot about, as opposed to being generic or vague or being overly expansive and covering topics that somebody else might do a better job than you would. So triple down on your strengths and be the best professional you can, I think is my takeaway.
Great. Thank you. I second that and agree. Well, Aron, if someone did want to get a hold of you or read your content, what would be the best way for them to do that?
Well, certainly they're welcome to visit our website at comcapllc.com. If they're a friend of yours, happy to take that call. Referrals are always welcome, as you know. And then also welcome to contact me directly, Aron at COMCAPLLC.com.
Wonderful. Thanks, Aron. I look forward to talking to you again.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Rep. Have a great day.
You too.